Joining us for more of the impact of the drought is having on the U.S. and the world, Hansen Kuhn, International Program Director at the Institute for Agriculture and Trade Policy, joins us now. Thank you very much for joining us. You know, as we've been talking about all week, this is a very serious situation, and as a viewer watching from home, it sounds like it's the end of the world in terms of food prices. Is it that bad?
It's a bad crisis. I was in the Midwest recently and I saw some of those cornfields that you're showing, and it's bad at the international level as well. These kinds of low harvests and high prices hurt food importing countries like Egypt, Pakistan. They hurt really poor countries, countries that are receiving food aid that will receive less now.
In 2006, we experienced a similar scare, if you will, in terms of food prices. Fast forward to today. How long is this crisis going to last? Is it a 1-2 month situation, or is it something that we're going to feel the effects for years to come?
You know, it's hard to know, but I think what's important since the last food crisis is that we see these things keep happening. We had a crisis in 2007, another one in 2010, now this one. I think all projections are that because of climate change, we should anticipate that we're going to have this kind of erratic weather, erratic food supplies. So we need to be thinking differently about how we get more stable food supplies.
Other countries, including China, for example, are discussing and talking about releasing stockpiles of soft commodities. Is this something that perhaps other countries should consider as well in light of what's happening?
Absolutely. I think what's really interesting, you know, the same day the U.S. released these results about the poor harvest, China announced that they would release corn and rice. China has significant reserves, and reserves are something the U.S. used to have. Most countries had 20, 30 years ago and then abandoned them. This is a tool that needs to be back on the table. This is something, it's been discussed at the G20, it's been discussed in international circles, but that is something perhaps we can learn from China.
As we look towards the next months and quarters to come for this crisis, this is very serious because food inflation has been a major component that has really concerned the developing world and, of course, the developed world as well. Is there anything that the government can do? Is there anything that the farmers can do? What can be done about this crisis in the near term?
Well, I think in the near term, there are some easy fixes. We could perhaps, if we're thinking about developing countries and world hunger, change our food aid program. Instead of insisting that we ship corn from the United States, buy it from Argentina, where they have a big harvest. Buy it closer to where the need is, so we don't waste money. But we also need to be thinking about different ways of planting, of decentralizing production and planning for these disruptions.
Okay. Karen, I want to thank you for your time on the show, and of course this is a very interesting topic that as we learn more and more about, unfortunately this is a disaster of global proportions.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All
Karen.
right, thanks very much.
Coming up next, we'll find out if the concerns over the economic slowdown will hurt U.S. markets and investors. Plus, hitting the goalpost, Manchester United's much hyped about market debut disappoints.